I'm a retired paramedic, and this is probably the most terrifying story I have to share during my experience on the job. I had a call on a very desolate stretch of area of a car sitting in the middle of the road, covered in blood. Of course, like most stories, it had to happen at 2 AM. We arrive on scene and find a new Camaro sitting in the middle of the road that had obviously been in an accident. Problem is, there is absolutely nothing else around the car. No person, no other vehicles, nothing. Part of my job then was being a tactical paramedic for our sheriff's department. I know, it sounds all exciting and high speed, low drag, but nope. As a paramedic, I got to sit around and wait for the police to do the real work. This being said, my paramedic partner and I both had pistols in the ambulance, so at least that gave me some sort of thrill. Anyway, as we start approaching the Camaro, my partner is shining a light around when he says really low, hushed and rushed, "Back, back, 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 now." I shunt my light in the car, and there's intestines wrapped around the gear shifter and a lung in the back seat. So, we, kind of freaked out, called dispatch, let them know what's happening, and we were in the process of getting out of there until the cops show up, when we see a figure appear walking down the road towards us. As he gets closer, we see he's covered in blood and gore. We both throw on our tactical vests and helmets, snatch our pistols as I sound like a frightened Home Alone 9-year-old on the radio to dispatch. We approach and start screaming at him to get on the ground, which he does. After everyone's heart rate is below 200 beats per minute, we start talking and figure out what happened. This guy had purchased a brand new Camaro and drive it to this desolate stretch of road to open it up. He said 1 minute he's shifting gears, and the next thing he knows, his car is all over the road and his mouth was full of blood, and it seems like an explosion had gone off. I start looking at his injuries over and can't really see anything major, and ask him about the passenger in his car. He says, "What passenger? There's a lung in your back seat." The guy goes straight into a mental overload and can't come up with anything tangible. "Get him in the ambulance. Police are 5 minutes away. We potentially have another victim out here. I'm gonna have to go look by myself." I walk through the crash scene, look in the car, and sure enough, intestines wrapped around the gear shifter, lung in the back seat. Looks like parts of a liver. Looks like a hand grenade went off inside the car. I walk around the other side of the car and see a faint blood smear stain on the road. I walk to it, see something else down the road, so I keep walking towards it. I finally saw something on the road and ran up to it as fast as I could, honestly completely freaked out and scared to death about the body I was about to see. And then I realised the guy had hit a deer. What happened is, when he was winding the car out, the state police estimated he was well over 100 miles per hour. A deer jumped into his car's pathway and hit the top corner of the windshield with its stomach. When the windshield crashed out, it created a negative vacuum in the car, sucking almost all of the deer's organs out and into his car and all over him. I had the fire department decontaminate him, wrapped him up in some blankets and took him to the hospital. The sight of body parts splashed all around the car, and my imagination running 100 miles per hour really did stain this terrible moment into my brain forever.